a bounce off of your site is so much more expensive now that traffic has gone down. And so what do folks want? They want tools and solutions and advice to make sure that those things are happening. How do I convert if that means conversions are happening in OpenAI or wherever? And how do I get people to my website, humans? And then once they're there, how do I make sure they're converting and not bouncing?
Hi, welcome to the WordPress Edge podcast, the ultimate destination for professionals looking to harness the power of WordPress for large-scale enterprise solutions. I'm your guest host, Christina Workman, front-end developer technical manager here at American Eagle. And I have some special guests here with me today from our partner WP Engine, John Householder, senior partner account manager, and Luke Patterson, product owner for AI. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, so today we're going to talk about how AI is transforming WordPress from a publishing platform to an intelligent digital experience platform. So let's start with a big picture view. Luke, from your perspective, what are digital leaders and marketers expecting from their websites today? And where's WordPress falling short?
Well, I think they expect the same things that they always do, right? So you've got a website for a reason. If they're coming to WP Engine, typically it's because they're a business and they have a really high standard for uptime and security and speed, which is kind of just the baseline. But again, like you've got this property on the web to make money in some way, to support a business. It's there to do a thing, right? And so you want it to do that thing really well. So depending on who you are, that's going to mean different things. But one of the ways that I like to think about it is just conversion. So somebody, a visitor, hopefully a human these days, is coming to your website and they're there for a reason. And you, as a website owner, somebody, for whom maybe this website is like your product, you want to make sure that you're giving it to them, whatever their reason is for being on your site. So e-commerce. I'm here to buy a thing. And in my head, I'm on the website, I'm a visitor and I want something. And so in like the world of AI, okay, now we have a lot of tools to maybe get inside that person's head and present to them that product that they're thinking of right off the bat. And so we're talking about dynamic experiences and we're talking about, maybe using machine learning or AI to interpret user intent based on signals, but it's all towards some end. And that end is, I'm an e-commerce store. I have customers that want to buy stuff from my store. How do I make that as easy and frictionless as possible for them? Or maybe, I'm a media site and, my job is to give folks things that they're interested in watching and reading, looking at, stuff like that. And I monetize maybe from selling ads on that site. And so a conversion to me means I'm keeping somebody on my site, I'm keeping them engaged and they're engaging with my content. And when I do that, I sell more ads, I make more money. And so that means, again, to me, I think I'm a search PM. I think a lot about user intent. And so, but intent for that user is, hey, what am I interested in? And so you've got some signals and maybe there's some AI, some machine learning, something else that can interpret some signals of, ooh, what did they look at in the past? Hey, where are they from? Hey, how can I better understand the intent of this visitor and the things they want to look at? So easy, frictionless. I get that stuff in front of them and they stay on my website longer and I sell more ads. And now actually everyone is happy. Business is good when you create win-win scenarios. I'm consuming content at an incredible rate and the people that own that content make money. Okay, great. Everybody's happy. Or like it's a, John and I like to call it a brochure website, but hey, I'm a mom and pop shop, or maybe a mom and pop kind of like lawyer. And so we've got some folks at our firm and we specialize in wills and trusts. And I want to make sure that somebody in my area who needs a wills and trusts private practice attorney gets to my website, understands that, oh, yes, it's wills and trusts, and we're really good, and we're kind of boutique, and this is what you want. Okay, schedule a consultation. And so we want to find it, and we want to find the information that we need, and then we want to convert. Okay, book a consultation. All right, sweet. And so for folks that have websites who are there's a myriad of different use cases. They've got the website for some reason, and they need to make sure that that reason is kind of getting actioned on and getting converted. And so to go back like to your actual question, is this is getting harder because there's less humans going to the website.
Right.
And so here's the things we hear from every single one of our customers. I go to my Google Search Console and it's a bloodbath. Traffic, organic traffic is decreasing 40, 50, 60%. Less humans are coming to my website. Why? AI summaries are gobbling up a lot of the traffic. I need to answer a question about wills and trusts. Well, now people don't hit the website and it's blog. Google's going to summarize the answer. ChatGPT is going to summarize the answer. And so one big thing we're hearing is, hey, how do I get folks to come back to my website? And you have to think of it too. You want them to come back to your website to convert. And so there's two things to do. They either convert off the website, and the website becomes a mechanism to deliver products, information, whatever is going to help that business convert to Google, to ChatGPT. Or you want to make sure those humans are still getting to your site because you need them on the website for some reason. And once they're there, you have to make sure that they're converting. So your funnel has to be really, really good, because a bounce off of your site is so much more expensive now that traffic has gone down. And so what do folks want? They want tools and solutions and advice to make sure that those things are happening. How do I convert if that means conversions are happening in OpenAI or wherever? And how do I get people to my website, humans? And then once they're there, how do I make sure they're converting and not bouncing?
Right. So it's harder to get them there, and it's more important that you get somebody converting immediately instead of coming back a few times, thinking about it, making a decision.
That's right. Or worse, bouncing and never coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this might bleed in a little bit to my next question for John. But WP Engine has always been known for speed and security, but now we're talking about intelligence. So John, what does that mean in practice to you?
I think like you said, it kind of bleeds into what Luke was talking about, right? We've got folks coming in. I think the folks that are coming to your website are a lot more qualified now, right? And so now that they're qualified, I've typed in, going back to Luke's things, like I need to have a will attorney in Nashville, Tennessee, where I live. You can probably tell that from my accent, right? Got a little southern drawl there.
What accent, John?
So,
I'm not allowed to talk about accents because apparently I say a boot.
A boot. I'm wearing a boot today, just a different type of boot. So we've got I have a question. I need an attorney in Nashville for my will, right? I find Luke's firm, but now when I visit the site, I should be qualified and ready to learn more, right? And I think the challenge now is making sure that those two systems connect, right? So, and when I connect, is the story remains consistent. So, you go into ChatGPT, put your question in, you visit the site. Now, you need to make sure that page is personalized and it's got the information that user wants, right, to get that conversion. So I think that's more of like what we're talking about, like an intelligent page, right? An intelligent website that's able to take the information from somewhere else and then give you the page or the answer that you want in a consistent manner, instead of going and saying like, okay, I was looking for a will on maybe some family stuff, but now I need something on properties, right? Those things just don't connect. So just making sure that all the systems are talking, that data is served up in a way that an average person can see and understand and then ultimately convert. So
excellent. All right, time to get a little technical. Luke, for the developers listening, what's actually powering this AI transformation?
Well, here's the thing. If people stop building data centers and using GPUs, the entire world economy is just gonna crash. So that and so that I say that only a little, I say that a little bit in jest, but it's complicated. So I talk to customers every day, and so I'm a product manager, and I have some AI products that I build and sell. And so I get customers that come to me a lot and say, "Hey, my VP told me I have to put AI on the website. What do I do?" So that's happening a lot. There's folks that understand there's hype and that this hype needs to be actioned upon in some way. And beyond that, hey, Luke, hey, John, hey, developer, go figure out all this AI stuff, but I know we need to be doing it. And so that's one piece. Another piece is the thing I said, there's massive disruption happening. When your organic traffic decreases by 60%, that's an emergency. That is a big red light and siren flashing for your business, and you have to solve it now. And so that's a problem, a complication, a disruption that's being caused by AI. Is AI the remedy to the AI problem? I don't know. The AEO, GEO stuff is like a black art right now. Maybe it's just SEO. Maybe there's tools that you can use to help solve that that are not AI. I don't know. Maybe it's probably a mix. And so there's hype, there's disruption, but also there's some use cases in which this stuff is like generally and genuinely helpful. And so, I mean, Claude Code is just the most obvious example of, wow, I'm more productive. Wow, there's a lot of stuff that I could do faster and better and easier now that I simply could not before. MCP into Claude. Uh, one of our developers showed me hooking up the Figma MCP into Claude Code, and it just becomes a pipeline from design to implementation. And for me, like, I'm pretty skeptical because I actually have to sell this stuff all day. And so the AI
you're
that
joining the sales team?
I should rephrase. John has to sell it. I should rephrase. The things I build, John's got to be able to sell them. And
There we go.
we're both in hot water if that's not the case. So I am highly skeptical. But when I saw it, the Figma MSP, I was like, yes, this is a light bulb moment. This stuff is actually useful. And so there is a pool of products now is narrower than people think, powered by AI. And by AI here, I mean LLMs, machine learning, also AI. It's a lot deeper and wider, and we can leave that aside for now. But like LLM,
yeah,
exactly.
It covers a lot of territory, right?
That's right. It's a big umbrella. But there are use cases where it's just, I mean, it's simply transformative, and it is getting better all the time. And with MCP, like we're seeing, like there's a way for this stuff to start connecting to other things. And so even for somebody that is just highly skeptical because it's got to be useful and because folks won't pay money for it if it's not actually useful. Yeah, I think there are some use cases where this stuff is genuinely game changing. And so that's the landscape that we have to contend with. One, everybody's bosses are telling them they've got to do the thing. And so you better be able to find a way that does it in a way that's not BS and is actually useful and helps the business. That ties into, okay, so like, what are the things we can actually build, buy, sell, whatever, use, LLM powered that are useful. So you can go and tell your boss, like, ooh, I implemented better content recommendations on my website, and that's AI, and it helps conversion. So that's like, bring it all together, right? So I tell my boss who doesn't really know what AI needs to be used for, and I find a way to give them the thing that they need, which is more conversions with LLMs, with the tool that actually does what it says it does. Okay, that's a lot of boxes to check. And so you kind of start to get a narrow realm of solutions that actually work. And then, of course, this problem space, why does my boss need conversions, is created by the situation in which we all find ourselves, which is LLMs, AI, they're eating traffic, and it is changing the world, and it's disrupting things in more ways than just that. And so we've got to find a way to swim and not sink, kind of in this new paradigm in which we found ourselves. So that advice is not very specific, because I mean, this is brand new. So this is true disruption. We're at the very beginning of the disruption curve. And so, there's not going to be a lot of like great answers. Here's what you go do. The
Right.
answer really is identify the problem that you have as best you can. Find somebody or some tool or some company that you trust that's going to help you match a tool to that problem, some solution to that problem. And if they're saying, hey, AI is the right tool for the job, just make sure, because there are tools for which it absolutely is. But again, things are so chaotic right now. Don't be scared of a dumb solution because there are some of those out there, even for problems created by LLMs. So, it's really kind of like if you're familiar with the Cynefin framework, it's a act, sense, respond in a chaotic space. And so there's not a great way to say, oh, here's the playbook here. There's not one. You
Right.
kind of have to go out into the world and experiment and find, folks and thought leaders that you trust and say, hey, there's a novel problem that we found ourselves confronting here. And how do we address it creatively, either with LLM tools or not LLM tools? Of course, I sell AI tools, and so, but
Right.
I won't talk my book too much.
So you mentioned the word disruption a couple of times. And so I'm thinking that means with everything you're saying, it's best to get on this trend, which isn't really a trend, soon. The earlier the better. You want to be one of the leaders doing this.
You have to start tinkering with this stuff. You have to. John does. I know John's vibe coding away, man.
Yeah, I would just say, Christina, from my point of view, the agencies that myself and my team serve, right? We have very, very large agencies, some of the largest agencies in the world, and some really, really smaller agencies, freelancers, right? Like there's
Right.
a wide breadth of people doing different things at different paces. And, and like what Luke was saying, there's, we've probably talked to hundreds, probably 100 between Luke and I, and then the company, who knows how many more, right? And no one, there's a lot of playbooks out there you can download on LinkedIn, what you put your email address in, right? I can say, just from like listening to our customers, everyone's still working to figure this out. So to go back to your question, Christina, like I for myself, I'm in sales. I've been with the company for about 7 years. That's my official job is to help agencies go to market with WordPress. But before that, I ran a digital agency for 10 years. And so I do have a little bit, I've built WordPress themes and all those things. So I started vibe coding and just learning how the AI tooling works. And I think that just helped me frame what was going on a lot better. So do I have all the answers? The answer is definitely no. But you know what? I'm out there trying, and I'm out there learning, and because things change every day. As soon as we say this works, Figma, right? This Figma pipeline is working great, but like there's probably something new that's coming up. Like I was reading about Gamma today, right? Huge, tiny company making huge splashes, right?
Mm.
And it's just the creativity that AI unlocks within, the human brain, I think is great, right? We just have more people doing more things quicker and easier, and just a great assistant. So, to answer your question, like, what am I hearing on the phone? What are our customers saying? Like, no one has it figured out. There's a lot of things out there, but just, open up your laptop, download some things, and start trying. I think the thing that scares me the most, Christina, is when I was at WordCamp and I was talking to some WordPress folks and they hadn't started. They
Right.
didn't believe it was a thing. That
Mm.
is not what you need to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
my wife is a school teacher. She's a wonderful woman. You know, she's a great school teacher. She teaches elementary school, and she's, you know, education is usually further behind us, right? Like the things we're talking about, the things we're doing right, you know, it comes down to her probably 2 years later, but she's doing it. It's
Yeah.
and we need WordPress community has to have the technical leaders of our agencies experimenting. And so that's just, you know, that's my thing, right? Like you don't have to have all the answers, but you've got to experiment, because the thing that hurts, like kind of hurts my heart the most, right, is when Luke are on these conversations and folks think this is a fad that's going to go away.
Right.
We don't know what it's going to end up looking like and feeling like and what it's going to impact. Like we've got some ideas, right? But the worst thing you can do is not try. So
Absolutely.
let's try.
Great.
Let's get after it.
So you brought it back to WordPress specifically. What tools are you, as a salesperson at WP Engine, what tools are you working towards helping agencies like AmericanEagle.com get on board with and help with in real world scenarios?
Sure. So I think, you know, for us, we think about two things: search and chatbots.
Mm-hmm.
Luke laughs. All right.
That's right. No, I mean, John said we have talked to hundreds of folks, and you know, kind of in your mind as you're thinking, like, there's a universe of stuff that we can build in this LLM world. But then when it comes down to, and you're like, oh man, there's going to be so many of these novel and weird and interesting ideas, and there is not, because people still need the same thing that we talked about right up top. They need conversions. Search does conversion by shortening the intent cycle. Intent means I'm on a website and I want something out of that website. And for search, they're going to type in the thing that they want. And your job as a search provider, we make a search tool, is to understand what that string of text means in context and put that right in front of the customer, and they click the first result. That's a conversion. Chatbots do the same thing on steroids. So when you're chatting with the chatbot, conversion can mean a lot different stuff than clicking a search link. I mean, you've seen these things where you can like book a flight in the chatbot, you can book a reservation in the chatbot. You know, with MCP, speaking of, we have built an MCP server that essentially connects the corpus of your content and all its metadata, all the stuff that's in the guts of the WordPress, connects that to via MCP to whatever wants to use it. Put it in Figma, but you put it in a chatbot. So now your chatbot knows everything about your WordPress site and the corpus of content, all that. And so if you have a knowledge base or like a PDF library or whatever, great. Now I can chat about it. And maybe, you know, maybe I put in my email, like John mentioned earlier, in order to, you know, access this knowledge base and chat with it. And great. This chatbot now, because there's the agentic world going on, it sends that lead to HubSpot along with the full context of the conversation. And then LLM can summarize a nice warm intro email that John makes a couple things to, sends it out. That's an MQL. That's an MQL straight to John's desk. And so the chatbot use case is just conversions on steroids. And then site search is just kind of a gimme. But those are the things that we hear. And, you know, you can go quite deep on both. So 2 use cases is enough for companies, empires to be built on. And so it's what we're hearing. So we're basically saying, yes, let's go deep on both of those things.
And Luke, like to follow up on that, I think one thing that's been really important for me, because once I started getting into like the AI coding and thinking about WordPress and everything, there's just so much noise out there. I think focusing on 2 things and just being like, let's be world class on those things is in things that, you know, matter to, you know, American Eagle customers and WordPress users and WordPress customers and the people who interact with the platform every day. Like that's the power, right? Is being the best in the business on WordPress search, WordPress chatbots, right? And then learning from our customers, taking all the noise that's out there and drilling it down into 2 where we all can focus. So I wanted to just add that kind of like brief, you know, summary of the things, of the hundreds of conversations. you know.
And
Excellent.
I'll caveat that too by saying, like, those are the things that I work on every day, and there's a myriad of applications that like WP Engine is interested in actively developing for our customers. There's things like, so we mentioned the problem with AEO, GEO. So there's things, there that we want to make sure in the hands of our customers that help to alleviate some of that pain. But in the realm of conversion, discovery, and intent on site.
Mhm.
It's search and chatbots. It's about intent, and it's about conversion.
All right. So if somebody was going to the WP Engine site looking for ways to help their site with search, with chatbots, what would they or what should they search up on your site to get to the right pages and get the right info? Other than just going directly to John and saying, what do you got?
Which we do want you to do. I
Yeah,
will give you John's home address.
Oh,
We'll
thank
put it
you.
in the show
that's
notes.
the direct pipeline.
Yeah, so yeah, I promised to only briefly talk my book here, but we offer something that's called the AI Toolkit. And so what comes in the AI Toolkit is a couple products. One is called Smart Search,
Okay.
and that's our search tool, and it's an AI search tool for WordPress, which if it's WordPress folks on, you know that the
Yeah.
default WordPress search augmentation really helps with those conversions, and so that's what we offer. And the other one is, it's called a hosted vector database. It's called our managed vector database. But really, the way that you can think about this is it's chatbot infrastructure. And so, vector database, what that means is we're taking your content. Remember, I said earlier, you get your content and all the metadata. We're
Mhm.
taking that and we're putting it in a special kind of database called a vector database. And the reason that kind of database is special is because it's kind of tailor made to talk back and forth to LLMs, and especially an LLM powering a chatbot. And so when you buy that managed vector database, what you're getting is kind of the chatbot stack. So it's the vector database, it's the MCP, which is kind of the interface layer between your LLM powered chatbot and the vector database, which holds all of the content and context and metadata and ACF fields from your WordPress site. And it gives you that vertically integrated solution. So if all you want is a chatbot, you want our managed vector database offering, it comes with some chatbot like DIYs and chatbot integrations. We've recently integrated and launched today. What great timing. Okay. An integration with OpenAI's Chat Kit and Agent Kit. And so you can set up a chatbot on your website in 5 minutes. I'm telling you, it is so easy that even a product manager can do it. I've done it myself. I mean, it's
And
nice
a sales
quick.
guy. Sales guy can do
And a
it.
sales guy.
That's right. And John, not just any sales guy. That's but so managed vector database, if you only want a chatbot, that's our solution to set up a chatbot in your website in 5 minutes, or there's a big DIY kit that you can have. If you're interested in like a big bad search and recommendation solution for WordPress that is powered by AI and machine learning and it's got all the bells and whistles, that's your smart search. If you want it all, that's AI Toolkit right there.
Right.
So that's how you can find that stuff.
It sounds like you provide everything but the customer.
That's right. That's right.
So you mentioned something that one of these things just launched today. What other things are you guys working on that you might be able to share? What should marketers and digital leaders be preparing for and looking forward to in 2026 and beyond?
I would say keep an eye out on WP Engine's LinkedIn and their Twitter, and there's a lot of webinars and content and events that we're gonna be kind of teasing some of this stuff out on. So I can't steal the thunder from
Of
all my
course.
friends in marketing, but here's what I can say. We are thinking about this stuff really hard, and it is not just my team. As I saw a big picture the other day that me and some other folks are putting together about, what's all the AI stuff that we're, from a product standpoint, stuff that we're want to release to our customers. What's all that stuff that we're considering? I'm going to tell you, it's a big picture. So there is a lot of stuff that we're actively spinning the gears are spinning on. But again, we want to consider, is this stuff that is useful? It can't just be hype. We have to launch stuff that solves one of the problems for our customers. And not all those solutions are going to be AI, but more and more, you're going to see this stuff coming out. And the space that these solutions are going to be in is, I have a website. I need this website to grow and be successful. So more and more, WP Engine has the speed, security, scalability, lockdown. That's our bread and butter. Okay, but that's one side of what it means for my site to be performant. The other side is that business side that we've been talking about, for the whole podcast. It's about conversions. And so we're very, very, very interested in working really hard across many, many teams to say, what are some solutions and what are some ways we can help customers grow their business, grow their online presence, increase conversions, whatever that means to them, large and small. Anything to add there, John? That's my pit. I tried to say, I wish I could get more specific, but yeah.
I think you did great.
Right.
All right. Well, John, final thoughts. In addition to everything that Luke just said, what to you is the biggest takeaway for agencies and brands that are listening today?
Just get out there, try, experiment, get better every day.
Love it. I would say the future of WordPress is AI powered from the sounds of everything you guys are saying. And for the most part, it's already here and everybody needs to get into it.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today on the WordPress Edge podcast. I'm your guest host, Christina Workman. And as always, please check out our other episodes through our WordPress Edge landing page at americaneagle.com/studios and feed your WordPress obsession.